Your media, where you are.
Do you believe that wearing certain jewelry or certain stones can affect your vibrations and uplift your mood or even make you feel a little bit protected? Well, it's true, and we are going to dive into that today. Shalom, my beautiful beings. Ndikonilumelisa nothe ngamulalo na rufuno. I'm greeting you all in the name of peace and love. You are tuned onto Sheet 24 at Your Media. And my name, of course, is Phumudzo Phumpie Munonde Gonzekunakanga Vasikana Mudzungano Kuvasena. And I'll be your host. So welcome again to the Spiritual Bar. You don't need to get anything, just relax and sit your fine self down and let us entertain you. The Spiritual Bar is a safe space for you to consciously cultivate and find yourself, your healing, your awakening, all through holistic wellness and self-development. The intention is ascension, vibrate higher through shalom. Y'all know what it is already. I'm so excited to have you soul family again, and I'm so excited to have our first ever guest on the Spiritual Bar today. Makgosi. Shalom. It's so lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here and to be I didn't know I was the first guest.
You are definitely the first one.
Sure. It's an amazing experience. I think how we met, how we connected.
Yes.
I always say that there is no such thing as coincidence. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in the universe.
And just to fill the viewers and listeners in on how we met, I think it's also a very magical and beautiful story.
Yeah.
It was a lovely day on a Sunday, and I was out with my friend at a farmer's market, and we were literally... The entire day was filled with conversations about holistic health, spirituality, and the healing properties of plants and things like that.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much about done with the market. We ate, we were full, we were satisfied, and we're like, let's go home.
It's time to go now.
It's time to go now.
Yeah.
But something kept saying, go to the other side of the market. And we're like... You know when you try and reason with your inner voice?
Yeah.
Don't do that. And I was like, but I've been to the other side. There's nothing there that I want. There's nothing I want to buy more. Something just pulled me there. And as we're walking, we come across your beautiful stall. And all of this glistening beauties is what I saw.
Thank you.
And I was just mesmerized. And I had to stop there. And you were not by your stall yet.
Yes.
But you quickly came.
Yeah.
And we just spoke and we couldn't stop talking. That's why we even had to have you here.
It kind of just snowballed.
Yeah. But Spirit led us to each other on that day. Spirit led us here. And I do not doubt that Spirit is going to lead us to so much more, and individually, collectively.
Yeah.
So your energy is so appreciated here.
Yours too. You have a beautiful aura. I think that's the first thing I felt when we met, and there was an instant connection, you know. And I think a lot of times we think that connection needs to happen with people over time, and you build it. They're just instant connections because the souls recognize each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it is not about the flesh. It is this. All of this we leave behind, and that there's a reason why we leave this behind. There's a reason why in every story of creation of being, there is the idea that the spirit ascends.
Exactly.
Yeah, we leave it.
Exactly.
We leave
because
it here.
we are not physical beings.
We're not physical
We are
beings.
spiritual beings having a physical human experience. Right.
Yes.
So, Makgosi, you make high vibrational jewelry, this beautiful jewelry. Let's start at the beginning a little bit. Tell us a little bit about who Makgosi is and what got you into jewelry making.
Okay, so Makgosi is, I think the first and the most important thing about me is that I'm a mom. I'm a mom to two boys, Khosi and Seiso. And I think that, they're the most important thing in my life, for sure. But Makgosi is someone who started out in corporate, actually, in banking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and remember we said we shared that space.
Yes.
So
Yes.
started out in banking, and I just always knew that was not for me. I can't explain it, but I just knew that was not my calling. That was not for me. But I think in certain areas we tend to excel, and people then just assume that's where you need to be and park it there. So over time, I just really was starting to feel something within me was not
Settled.
was not feeling settled, was feeling drained, was feeling depleted, was feeling just like, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? And why am I getting up every day? It's not just good enough to say it's for my boys, but there has to be something more to it. And to be honest, I was doing my jewelry as a hobby, which I had started so early on. I think I was still in primary school when I started.
Yeah.
And I got my first set of beads when I went to the bead shop with my mother.
Wow.
She was actually there to get curtains, and there happened to be like a bead shop within the curtain shop.
Yes.
And I pestered her, I remember, for the 30 minutes until she said, fine,
Give me the beads.
Yes, just pick some beads, and we went home. But also there was the fact that it was beads, and I always came back to beads. And I think, funny enough, then, going through life, then, you start to read up on certain things. And I'm someone who's very interested and fascinated by a lot of history, a lot of mythology, a lot of ancient civilizations, just how they lived. And throughout these civilizations, all of them seemingly felt the need to adorn themselves and to celebrate their beauty or communicate through beads. You find you have the Miyoki beads from Japan. You have seed beads, which are in Africa, which are in North America, South America, I think even Iceland. And then you start to wonder, because there is no record or historical record of these civilizations and these people having interacted and met or traded with each other. So then it just started.
It's that connection. It's the connection that we all have. Our spirits are connected from before we landed here on planet Earth, where we currently reside and call home.
Exactly.
But that connection continues to seam through into the physical, the 3D plane. I love that. I love that. That's so beautiful. And you are so right. There's even a lot of religions like Judaism, Christianity, Buddhists, mystics, many people that believe in stones and metals carrying a historic spiritual energy. Vibration.
Yes.
So it must be a very, very special interconnected thing for all these different separate people to believe in the same thing. So, but the question still lies. Do you believe in high vibrational jewelry? Can wearing specific stones or beads give you that connection with your ancestry, give you that upliftment when your mood is low and you feel happier, or give you that protection, or give you that confidence when you are adorned with certain stones?
Look, I just want to say I am by no means an expert, right?
Yes.
On the field or with regards to...
Nobody's an expert in life. We
True.
just give our 2 cents everywhere we go. You take it, you don't use it,
run with
whatever, you run with it. Yeah.
But I feel that even if we take it from as basic as, let's say, a placebo effect, for the fact that when we start to think about something, we start to... Our mind, our body, all of that becomes aligned and becomes aligned into the belief that that is what is happening.
Yeah.
And that's the amazing thing, even about placebos. And, but we can take it so much further with stones and with crystals, because there has been scientific research that has gone into them, and that has then measured, the vibration and the frequencies.
Yes.
So it is not, a situation where, this is sort of a quasi, science. There is some science into it. And for it to then have then gone as far as then being able to classify or group certain crystals to have this sort of healing property versus that and versus that. that literally tells us that there were people who went into this, and there were people who then tried to figure out, okay, for example, if I've got love quartz,
Yes.
I'm a Piscean as well. So
Yes.
I have love.
You love.
And I lead from love.
Yes.
So for me, that kind of stone, but it's also within the color, you know, and for some reason, you know, it all then ties in. And so yeah, I'm definitely
I agree with
I'm
that,
a
and I
believer.
think I think also a part of being a believer is because us as human species, we have the ability of choice.
Yes.
We have the ability to choose that. Yes, I want to believe in the mystics surrounding, or the oral history surrounding this, and I want to take it on and embody it and let that affect me positively.
Yes.
You know, I think it's also up to that, because also, I mean, if bones and clay artifacts can hold information that gives us clues to historic life, why is it that things from the natural earth, stones, minerals, elements from the earth, why is it that they can't harness the original and pure essence that is God? Why can't that be still preserved in them and affect me positively? Because I too am a part of nature.
Exactly.
You understand? That's how I also look at it. So looking at your gorgeous creations, I'm also wearing.
Thank you.
They're so lovely. I love your work. I love and respect your work.
Thank you
What sort of elements and materials do you use for your jewelry?
Okay, so with my jewelry, there is obviously then the crystals, or then
Yes.
and there are different types of crystals as well. So we I have then let's say we'd say the natural stones, which is then our semi-precious stones. Yes, they fall under one criteria.
Okay.
Then we've got then sort of like our synthetic crystals, but also because of the way that they've been cut. So there is elements of sacred geometry that goes into that.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, and if you look at then the angles and how it's been cut and all of that, there sacred geometry sort of woven into that as well.
So Makgosi, tell us a little bit more about what sort of materials you use for your creations.
Okay. So I have the stones and the beads are in different categories, or
And these crystals as well, yes?
yes. So we would have then the gemstones, which are semi-precious stones. They would be like amethyst, pyrite. So those types of stones that I would then also be used for healing,
Yes.
and a number of other, health properties as well. And then we have the crystal glass beads, which are also known as check beads. Those that are cut at certain angles. So what's awesome about them is that you can sort of see like the sacred geometry coming in there because of like
Yes.
the angles, and you've got like little sort of hexagons in there, and all forming these little shapes, which I'm absolutely in love with here. And then we also then would have like the seed beads. Like if you have a look at that, those are seed beads as well. And just depending if we're able to find them, Miyoki beads, which originate from Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, those are obviously a little harder to source in South
Yeah.
Africa, but we do at times would be getting international stock of that. In addition to that, then we would be talking about then let's say the earring hooks or the beading frames. Those would be made out of either brass, silver, copper, those types of elements, all nickel free. I think, yes, very important, all nickel free, all hypoallergenic, so no issues with regards to allergies and things like that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. So if I wear one of your pieces like I am right now, and
Yes.
I've been just feeling really good today, what is somebody expected to feel? What kind of healing energies? Maybe just run us through maybe two pieces.
Okay.
What can a person expect to feel when they're putting on one of Zazi's accessories?
Okay, for example, let's say we've got any one of these pieces. Okay, for example, I think this is quite a unique piece. The reason why I say that is that it also has elements of coral, red coral, and
Nice.
then the mother of pearl shells. So what you then would be channeling is, you know, the ocean, you know,
Yes.
calming, soothing effects. And then depending on the individual stones, you could have ones that would help you with like anxiety. For example, like
Which
the
stones?
rose quartz as well. Rose quartz is excellent for helping with anxiety, soothing. Then you've got citrine that would be excellent with regards to concentration, and you know, if you are in a space where you need your mind to be calm, so that as well.
Nice.
Malachite, for example,
Yeah.
if you wanted to manifest so abundance, you know, and you were very intentional about the things that you wanted to bring forth, so that's another stone that would be good for that.
I love that. I love that. So science does tell us that as human beings, we have 7 major glandular points
Yes.
within our bodies.
Yes.
Which
chakras.
are energetic points, which are also known as chakras.
Yeah.
And each point requires specific minerals and has specific crystals that can activate it and open it up further, right?
Yes.
So how do you decide what kind of material you want to use for what kind of design, things like that? What do you have an intention behind some of the work that you do? If you want perhaps a necklace to assist in the throat chakra, or the earrings to aid with the crown chakra and things like that.
I think with that, it would be specifically then bringing in the colors.
Okay.
What also then happens is with the shape, like
Yeah.
the earrings you're wearing right
Yeah.
now, they look like, you know, actually like a geode. If you, I know, so you haven't actually had a chance to look, but if you look out, the outer part is
Yeah.
more sort of brownier and
Yes.
and in the inner there you have your sparkle of the geode. So it just depends, and then so you create that effect. So that's the beautiful thing about, let's say, with this particular technique that I used on your earrings.
Yes.
It's wire wrapping. So with wire wrapping, then
Love
I
it.
would have the intention of maybe creating a flower.
Yeah.
And then you are sort of opening, you know, yourself up, and you know, you have all of these healing, but you're also open, so you're creating also the illusion of a portal. So all of
To
this
take
is
it all in.
to take it all in. So those are like, when I am creating, those are the types of things I think about, and to say, how do I channel this energy? You know, because it's not going to just be something that's dainty and just on your ear.
Yeah.
How do we bring that all in together and,
Yeah.
you know, create this channeling? And we have to be very intentional about everything that we do.
Yes, definitely. I feel like intention is the word for the year. You have to be intentive about everything you do.
Yeah.
What else goes into your creative process?
I think a lot of chaos, actually. I think we
because
were
it's
talking
a lot
about
of beads, and I'm
It
just
is.
thinking, you know, doing everything, your hands as well. Do you first have to soak them, get a nice little manicure? I don't know.
Look at my fingers. I never have nail polish on. It does not work. It does
Yeah.
not happen. And
Yeah.
with the wire especially, it just seems
Yeah.
to erode it away. But I think also for me, in my personal journey, my spiritual journey, my workshop, like I said, is chaos. But I think it also speaks to where I am. And I think that is very important, because a lot of the times people expect it to be this amazing journey and light and love, and we forget
Healing is not linear.
healing is not linear. Healing is not beautiful, and this is why people avoid healing.
Yes.
Healing is hard. You need to go through into the hurricane, or into, you know, the cyclone, and only in the center is there calm.
Exactly.
But on the peripheral, on the boundary, it's havoc, it's chaos, it's everything smashing together. But you need to go through it.
You have to.
Get to the center, get to your core, where you're centered, where you find your strength. to be able to get out on the other side, because that's you're headed again for another storm to get out to the other side.
You literally have to go through. And I think with that, it's about surrendering to the chaos and accepting that there's nothing that's perfect besides the all-knowing, the almighty God. There's nothing else on this earth that's perfect. So we have to push through that. And I love that there are things like various elements that can help you on this journey. You know, you mentioned your spiritual journey. Where are you with that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so like I just told you, it's really at the beginning, because there is so much that I am, you know, trying to understand. There's so much out there as well. You know, there is a friend of mine who had said, you know what, you need to, you know, start actively sharing the things that you know you are learning, and I felt like I'm in no position. I'm this newbie, you know, I've just literally started on this journey. You know, who am I to give? And he was like, no, you have that within you. We all actually have that within us.
We do.
To share, to be pathfinders, to be way showers, you know. And that is our thing in this life, is that we are all here walking each other through this journey. And only by sharing what I know and what I'm going through, somebody else is like, wow, I'm also going through the same thing.
Yes.
Jeez, I didn't know.
It alleviates the burden. You don't feel so alone anymore. And I think that's what gets a lot of people nowadays. We feel so alone. We feel we are backed up in a corner. We feel like there's no escape. There's no way out. And that is just, it's a lie. It's a lie that the mind makes up. And we have to, that's why I love this platform as well, because it's so necessary to have these type of conversations. And I believe a spiritual journey, you're born on it. You just get reawakened. You already here, you signed a contract.
Right. We agreed to all of this.
God is like, we agreed.
And you're like,
we agreed.
wow,
so when you get here, don't act like you don't know what you're supposed to do. Do you feel you are living in your purpose?
Not 100%.
Not 100%.
Not 100%. But I feel like I have taken
Is there
this
even
step.
100%?
I don't think there is, because I think that that's why this journey is circular. It's always, and it's a spiral, because we're always moving. You know, it's never ending. It's never ending. So I believe that I have started.
Yeah.
I believe I'm nowhere near it, because I feel like there is so much. Especially within these last couple of weeks, seeing and hearing about like people, you know, for example, taking their own lives. And, you know, you were saying that our mind tells us that we're alone. We've got, I don't know how many apps that we're constantly on. We talk to each other we see people. However, for some reason, we seem to feel like we are alone, and there's nobody else. And I think, especially as someone who is battling, I suppose, you know, depression, you know, constantly. And I think that a lot of people who have awoken and or are in the process of awakening definitely go through that, because I think it becomes this existential crisis of, what am I doing here?
Yes.
I know I do this. I know I do that. And I think you see it in people who've so-called achieved in life, you know, who've gotten to, you know, people say, but they were at their pinnacle. They were at their highest. You know, they had the money, they had the fame, or they had all of these.
What
the
was
career.
so wrong?
What was so wrong? Like, people can't fathom it. But you know at your core, you know, but if you have not engaged with the tools, and I think that's the difference, is that if you have not started to sort of understand and find healing, because now I believe that it would be your shadow, you know, now you have your shadow fighting you, and you need to go back and you know, get access to those tools.
Yes.
So for me, I think the next step would be, how do I then maybe teach other people to do this as a therapeutic means of you know, as an outlet to release.
I love it. I think already you are serving by creating this and helping people already, because it's more intensive than just, oh, I'm going to look pretty. You know, there's deeper meaning, there's deeper intention just from your creative stage, your creative process, when you're still coming up with the idea on what you're going to make, all the way through to delivery to the customer buying it. So I don't doubt that you're going to continue on this route. So keep on it. And that's why healing is so important, as you mentioned earlier. Okay, so you also did mention nickel being one of the causes of allergic reactions. And yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
So are there any other no materials that we can stay away from? Because I do know that with gold as well, the higher the carat, the more pure it is.
Yes.
So the lower the carat, the more it's now condensed and mixed with other things like nickel. So what else are we supposed to try and look out for to stay away from?
Well,
just give us a
okay. Well, with things like let's say gold that isn't, let's say, 100%. I think the beauty of that is that it's not really being absorbed by the body.
Yes.
Okay. So you won't necessarily have to fear. I know we spoke about then the low vibration of that. So there's not necessarily things you'd need to fear in that space. However, like I said, there are sensitive parts like your ears. So not everybody, but there are other people who are more sensitive.
Yes,
you know,
like me.
some of us are more like in tune and more open to energies and all sorts of things. So
definitely,
yeah, I think with that, you know, because you know our skin is a living organism as well.
It is.
So we need to treat it right, and obviously, if something is reacting to it, you know, it means it's being poisoned. It means it's bad. It's
a
bad.
no-no.
It's a no-no. It's
a no-no.
contaminating. So, like.
And your body, I feel like your body always tells you, we need to be one with ourselves. You always know that first itch, that little zing. It's nothing cute.
That little zing.
Take it off.
Take it off.
Take
you,
it off
you already know.
You
already know.
You
it's
also
not
use some copper, right, in some of your things. And I heard copper also aids in blood pressure, actually, in stabilizing blood sugar and blood pressures.
Not just that, and this was something that I think probably older generations, they used to wear copper bangles, bracelets. And that actually helped with joint pain and arthritis and things like that. As women, for example, our, IUD? Yes, there is a copper version of it. And so there is a lot of healing properties and you know, things that the is good with copper because the body can absorb it without there being any sort of issues, and there is then properties in it that help the body. So with copper, then you don't have any issues. With silver, it's for example not in its sort of solid state like this. However, there are then silver creams where it's been gotten down to a point where it's when you can basically apply it on the skin and all of that. That's helped with, I believe, inflammation and also like healing as well. So with silver you get that.
So we're being schooled. We are being schooled, and I hope you're all taking notes. I love that. I think we tend to forget that we are living organisms and your skin breathes.
Yeah.
So whatever you put on it, whether it's clothes, the perfume, the jewelry, it's literally interacting with your skin, and your skin is absorbing it, whether it's good or bad, and that contributes to your entire vibration as well, and in your electromagnetic field as human beings. And that contributes towards your total entire well-being as a person. Yes.
We are the all. I mean, our atoms, we have iron in our body, we have, you know, all the properties, all the elements that exist in nature comprise, you know, of us.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Something interesting I came across is there's researchers at the University of Southampton. Apparently, they found a way to now store data on a quartz.
Yes. Do
you know about this?
So excited about that.
It is so interesting. So how they do it is they're storing data in a tiny 5D structure contained in a quartz disc. And each inch contains about 360 terabytes.
Which is insane.
This is crazy. They
This
call
crazy.
it the Superman memory crystal.
Yep.
So we are now using crystals to store data
Yes.
as well. Listen, people.
It was the next logic. Funny enough,
Yeah.
it seems like it's like, whoa, we've taken, a leap. However, the Mayans, and if you go back to the crystal skulls that were found, they believe that those crystal skulls actually contain data that was downloaded into those skulls. So
Crazy.
it's actually things that, our ancestors and our
Have been doing.
were doing. And it's just now, for whatever reason, there clearly was a break in the chain,
Yeah.
in humanity and in, our records, and a lot that we've lost over the years.
Yes.
And it's just now that I remembering
Right.
that
We are.
we
are, and that's also what I think spiritual journey is about. It's about remembrance of your reverence to your creator, to God, and that comes back to the way that those that came before you lived. We're literally going back there. We're going back there.
That
So if you're not ready, I don't know, hey, you better get ready and jump in because the bus is leaving.
Yeah.
Makgosi, thank you so much. I love your work.
Thank you.
I think all of this is so beautiful. Which one is your favorite piece?
it's so hard.
No.
It's like asking a mother to choose her
Her favorite child, yeah. Say it's Phumpie.
Okay, I think these at
Yeah?
times. I think also.
And they have this Moroccan.
Yes, that is why as well.
Love
So I think just being able to bring in, like I said, I am a lover of culture. I'm a lover of, us as a species and everything we've achieved. More the good.
Good.
But yeah, I think if we can incorporate and bring in elements, and this is what unifies us, and this is what brings us closer to each other, and makes the division less. And so if I find sort of elements of, like I said, Miyuki beads, if I get so excited, if elements of Morocco, Turkey, or other places, it just then says to me, we're all doing the same thing.
We're all doing the same thing, but we are at different locations geographically. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that there's so many bright colored jewelry as well, because I think also in the African cultures, color represents so much.
So much.
Different things with different cultures, but it's symbolic of our existence. Like they'll speak about blue is also resemblance of the water. The green beads is nature, is plants, it's the trees, and the beautiful bright colors is the flowers. So these are all linked with us as well, because we're not separate.
And sorry, it's just so funny that even if we look at like the Zulu culture, and they have the Zulu love letter.
Yes.
And it's just it's such a beautiful thing,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
to say that you've woven a message within this little square of beads, and it's just
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We are beautiful as spirits, and we have the ability to bring that out into the world so creatively and so distinctively unique to where we come from individually. I love that this is what you're also doing. So where can people find you and your jewelry? Where can they buy this beautiful stuff? Because I'm trying to get you sold out.
at the moment, because I am doing all the jewelry myself. We are on Instagram. Okay. My contact details are on Insta. I also.
What's your handle on Insta?
That's Zazie Accessories, all one word.
Okay.
And we're at Four Ways Farmers Market every Saturday and Sunday. And the hope is just to, grow, expand. We do have a Take-A-Lot account. So we are looking just to see how we can just move, the jewelry on there. I do have a business partner, so he's on the finance side of things, and I wish you could create. But
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's been a journey, and I think now that we've started, the bigger thing, and I think where I'm at right now is trying to actually get funding, and I'm glad maybe if we could just touch on that, because like I said, for me, I've seen so many women in situations where, you know, they find they don't have a formal skill or formal education. These are very simple things, and I think that's why I love the idea and how it is in KZN, because, you know, it's just transferring these skills, and then women are able to create, because we are creators as well, you know.
We are creators
As well. And if then we're in a space where we can make our own, and we can then align ourselves with e-commerce, and we are able to then, you know, become independent and, you know, be able to take on those households, because there is a lot of women, you know, headed and women run households. So that's the bigger goal for me, is that to be able to create a space where we can train, where we can bring in women, and especially vulnerable women, and we can teach them the skill, but also have it be in terms of an entrepreneurial course as well. So it's the practical skill, the entrepreneurial course, and sort of set them up then with the ability to have an online platform. Like, we've established that, and I've been able to, with my background, to establish even more and other platforms. And just give them a space.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's why I say, listen, continue on this journey. You are clearly living out your purpose, and you still have such a beautiful journey going ahead. You're vibrant, you're young, you're knowledgeable, you're so talented. Your intention is in the right place. So only good things can follow that kind of energy that you're emitting.
Thank you.
know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your energy and sharing your beautiful pieces that you create, and just sharing a part of who you are with us. I loved it, and I'm sure everybody at home as well can concur to this.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and
It is a
just giving me the
pleasure.
space.
It's such a pleasure. So before I let you go, my soul fam, I want you to consider this by Steve Smay. It's a quote. An author is like a jeweler, with words as their gemstones and imagination the precious metals. What thoughts are creating your words or your gems for your life story? Consider that.
Wow. Okay, you need to send that to me.
Definitely. Please support Black women, African business owned, and just please continue to stay subscribed onto at your media. You can also follow me for more everyday interaction at Phumpie. This is the She Network, and this was the Spiritual Bar. The intention is ascension, vibrate higher through shalom. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much. As always, keep your vibrations way up.
Hi.